The Angolan oil sector has reasons to smile with export figures more than satisfactory at the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. In the same vein, the historical launch of the very first oil platform in the country will take place next June. Going by the name Lifua A, the platform is under construction in the Malongo camp in Cabinda and should be launched into the sea in few weeks. Supported by the giant Chevron through its local subsidiary, Cabinda Gulf Oil Company Limited, the project required a budget of $60 million. This information was made public during a 3-day visit by President João Lourenço to Cabinda province, during which the project was presented to him. The project, which is part of Upturn in the Angolan oil sector, is intended to create 300 direct jobs and will have its entry into production in late 2023.
Palestinian authorities in Gaza have announced the discovery of a 4,500-year-old statuette. The limestone artifact was found by a farmer and handed over to the authorities. It measures 22 centimeters and depicts the face of an ancient goddess. Today we announce an archaeological discovery at the site of Sheikh Ahmouda in Khan Yunis, which is a symbol for the oldest human civilization that lived in Gaza City, where a Palestinian farmer from the east of Khan Yunis found the head of a statue while working his land and handed it over to the authorities. According to the ministry official, the statuette represents Canaanite goddess Anat, the goddess of love and war. Tourism and access to archaeological sites is limited in Gaza due to an Israeli blockade imposed since the militant group Hamas took over the enclave in 2007. The specialized technical staff at the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities examined the statue, which is on display in front of you, and it turned out to belong to the Canaanite goddess Anat, which was the goddess of love, beauty and war, according to the Canaanite mythology, and the statue is approximately 4,500 years old. The statue is in possession of Tourism and Antiquities, and it will be displayed in the National Museum, Pasha Palace Museum, in the coming days. In February, workers at a construction site in northern Gaza discovered 31 Roman-era tombs dating to the 1st century AD. A veteran left-wing Tunisian politician announced the creation of a new alliance aimed at restoring constitutional normality in the country following President Kais Saied's power grab last year. The president was elected in 2019 and sacked the government on July 25, 2021. We're here to announce the creation of the National Salvation Front, a political front that comprises, up till now, 5 political parties and 5 political groups, including 6 parliamentary groups. It's only the beginning. We plan to keep on consulting with other parties to join the alliance. We believe that the social crisis will grow and will have extremely strong repercussions on political stability. To create a political force gathering prominent figures in the country that offers a plan to return to democracy and save Tunisia is likely to have support. Anyhow, we have no choice but to take a chance. Tunisians face a referendum on constitutional reforms in July.
The remains of Nigeria's oil refinery victims were interred on Tuesday. If the majority of the charred bodies had been carried away and led to rest by families early on, just about 50 were buried in mass graves. The explosion that occurred on Friday between the southern oil states of Rivers and Imo killed over 100 people in Africa's largest crude oil producer.
The locals who have been able to identify one or two persons have taken them, but the casualty figure as of last visit on Sunday still remains 110.
The workers and traders who died worked in an illegal refinery. Such facilities are operated in many parts of southern Nigeria, which grapples with insecurity and the high rate of poverty.
Means of survival here is hard. So maybe as a result of finding things difficult that made them to join this business. There is no how you can provide job for people and they will prefer joining this kind of business, knowing that the risk is high. So I'm not actually saying that what they are doing is right, but I mean, from my own understanding, is part of, as a result of frustration.
The socio-economic context is not the only factor, according to the chairman of the local government. Officials have accused security agents of sabotaging the incident, saying they work with the operators of illegal refineries.
Blaming the security does not mean that the people who orchestrated it. But why we blame them is that they were so loose that these illegal bunkers could come here in their numbers to do without any kind of threat, not feeling that the police security agents will come. That's why we blame them, not because they're the people doing it, but a security agent should be able to forestall anything illegal. You couldn't allow them to happen.
Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered the nation's security forces to intensify the clampdown on similar facilities to prevent a repeat of Friday's tragedy.
The World Health Organization's Director General announced the lowest global death toll since March 2020. According to the World Health Body, there were just over 15,000 deaths caused by COVID-19 reported last week.
Globally, reported cases and deaths continue to decline, which is very encouraging and good news. Last week, just over 15,000 deaths were reported to WHO, the lowest weekly total since March 2020.
The Director General alerted for the drop in testing, which could compromise efforts at following the evolution of the virus. According to a recent study published in The Lancet, the pandemic caused more than 80 million deaths, more than 3 times the official estimate.